Let's go. Game weekend.
That's how I feel. Let me tell you, I know I'm easily hyped up by things that Purdue Athletics puts out, and that's what happens when Purdue Athletics puts nothing out for 20 years and then starts to put out awesome stuff. I get really excited. So like the last few years, the whole Let's Play Football campaign is just brilliant in its simplicity.
Yeah.
And the little video revealing the uniforms and with the blacked out stadium, and then the Let's Play Football just comes across with like a spotlight at the end. I'm like, oh my goodness.
It's really good.
It's so good. You just hope they don't come out and lose like 48-0 because that would really. I remember the year that they had the Danny Hope. Remember the theme? I think his first year when it was like the theme was like one O-N-E.
Yeah.
And you said to me off air, I think you said, "Boy, I hope they don't only win one game."
One game, exactly.
That can really backfire when you do something like that.
Yeah.
But the Let's Play Football, and that can be mocked too, because you could argue some games they're doing something else. But
Let's play field hockey.
oh, are we live? Oh, okay. Welcome to the Boiled Sports Predicto.
We're intentionally live this time.
We're intentionally live, and no one's joined.
No one's here.
You notice that? How that works out? So we'll see. So this is the Predicto. In the past, we've been doing the Predicto at the site for a really long time. We don't really know the start date of anything, so I can't tell you how many years, but probably
I've called
15.
this the 16th season.
Yeah, I'd say we've been doing the Predicto for 25 or 30 years.
Yeah,
indeed.
Yeah, maybe 40.
Indeed.
I'm not sure who remembers these sorts of things. And it usually gets 1 or 0 comments, and I don't ever see any interaction online. So, and naturally, I was ready to ditch it, and I noticed someone DM'd the BS feed today, Anish, and said, "When do you guys usually post the Predicto?" I'm like, are you guys listening to my inner thoughts? Because that's a little creepy.
And that's just the hit of dopamine that you need.
One person is looking for it.
Right. They always say, act like you're reaching just one person when you speak. We are literally just reaching one person when we do it.
So, sir, thank you for your interest. This is for you. Actually, I remember years ago when Derek Schultz was on the air. That was a shot. I didn't mean that to sound like it sounded. But when he had his radio show, I remember him saying, "Oh, I never missed a Predicto." And I was like, "That's nice. I don't believe you, but that's nice."
Those are good words to say.
Yeah. No, Greg, the person needs me, not the people.
The person, not people. Exactly. But Greg, thanks for tuning in. Greg, your presence is always appreciated.
Big Nebraska fan, Greg McManus.
Big Husker.
So we're gonna, as usual, be laser focused. So this is the Predicto for Purdue and Oregon State. Anish, did you name this stream perhaps anywhere?
Yeah, sure. I did. I used your name.
Oh, okay. You
literally named it the J Money Predicto?
No. I told him, well, because when I would write the Predicto, I would always try to do the BS Predicto, and then I'd put like some play on the team, some play on their name. Yeah. So he asked me what this should be titled, and I said the BS Predicto, Crushing Beaver.
It's an angle.
Aspirational.
It's an angle. There we go. Exactly.
Like if you ran them over, I don't know what you guys are.
Yeah. Well, I wrote a headline that I didn't put in for the. I don't know if you guys saw. I spent an hour watching a simulation from.
I did see that, and I was going to make fun of you for it.
I'm way too enthused about Saturday, right? I just want to see something. And I was going to say the headline was "Boilers Bust Beavers."
That works.
They do.
Works. I mean,
I didn't say that.
What I'm saying is, like, our mascot is a train, and they're a beaver, and that's what happens when a train runs over.
Yeah.
Well, and I think it's fair to say that there have been more headlines that have not been posted than have been posted. I would say we come up with good headlines during and after every game.
That's true. This is true.
I don't mean Darren Ravel good headlines. I mean actual good headlines that we can't post.
Indeed. So what do you think is going to happen?
Are we jumping right in? Are we going?
Yeah, we're jumping right in. A tight 15 minutes. Let's do it.
Okay. So do you have, Jay, before we go, do you have the other two Predictos?
No. As sticking true to form, nobody sent anything.
I did?
No, except for you. I didn't.
And I'm here.
Hey, how dare
Right. Doesn't matter. You're here.
Right.
So Anish said something, but I didn't even read it because I figured he'd be here. So
indeed,
do you want to read my Predicto in my voice like you promised me?
No, it's gonna sound like every J Money impression somehow turns into Richard Nixon, right?
I think it's Jimmy Stewart more.
Oh, Jimmy Stewart. Yes, that's right. That's right.
No, my voice isn't.
Well, you guys,
There you go.
guys are crazy with your predictions and your computers and your turbocharged internal combustion engines.
I like you do an impression of, say, John asks who comes into Ross Age. You know the answer, John. Nobody. Actually, sounds like everybody's coming in this time because it's supposed to be a sellout or damn near close, which is super cool and good for you, Purdue fans, for showing out for this game. Labor Day weekend is, there's stuff going on. Usually it's not shocking if you can't fill up the stadium on Labor Day weekend. So that's pretty awesome. And as we talked about during the Handsome Hour, when everyone's excited, man, it just shows what the support this team would have if they just strung together some exciting wins, man.
2 wins?
2 even. Correct.
Two.
By the way,
let's start.
Purdue is on the FanDuel national champs list. You can bet on them for the national championship, which I find funny. They don't put every program there, right? So Purdue is plus $50,000. It's plus 50,000. So you just $100 wins you $50,000.
You're doing well.
It's a good investment.
Yeah, I think that's. I don't see anything wrong. That you also could just donate your money to billionaires who own
Purdue Athletics.
Yeah, exactly.
Or anyone.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's a better cause. Whatever you give it to, it's a better cause.
Yeah.
Literally.
Buy a grill grate from Derek. Spend that $50
from our friends
there.
Gridiron.
GridironMetalWorks.com. Martin Vintage, a lot of good friends, supporters of the show. AJs. So, no, I don't have other predictions, but I am very excited. I am very experienced with certain positions. Wait, I read that wrong. Hold on.
Boyle Sports After Dark is on.
Oh, I like how you're going to act all. Oh, my pearls.
Oh, my pearls.
Oh, my dear.
Is that hot?
My dear. I do declare.
Wow. I do declare.
I think this is one of those. And how many years have we started the season going, man, I can see 2-3 wins out of the gate. Like, the wins are there. This is one of them. You're at home.
September, 3 wins. This should be one of them.
This should definitely be one of them.
If this is not a win, oh, buddy.
And exactly. And no matter how much I say that, it's very hard to conjure up a scenario where Purdue, although, let's look back. Think about, what was it? Brom's first night game over Ohio, right? It was the one that was like 48-20 something. Like, that was a no doubter. They scored more than I think you would have wanted them to, but they weren't a bad team.
I think that team was in that game. Yeah. So much fun.
Yes, that's what I want tomorrow night. Yeah. I don't care if they give up some points. I don't care if it's a bit of a shootout. In fact, I'd love it to be a shootout because that would show me something.
I think you're going to get your wish.
Think so?
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to say 38-28.
The spread is 7. I also predict Purdue to take care of that spread.
You literally almost picked my score exactly.
Yep.
I promise I didn't. I promise what I do is I don't read them if I'm going to.
Mine is 38-21. The sickos only
38-21. I like that.
Yeah, college football sickos start with the line. So talking about the lines, I think that's exactly like the trenches is where it's going to be. So when Oregon State has the ball, it's strength versus strength. Oregon State's line is really experienced. Purdue's defensive line pass rush is going to be the strength of that defense probably. Mm-hmm. The other side of the ball is going to be like neutral. I think Purdue's offensive line is going to be a line. It's going to be real. But like Oregon State has no pass rush, 0. They should not be able to touch, get past the line of scrimmage at all. And that's where it's going to be. If that matchup shows up, Jack the Snack should have a ton of time. That's it. I mean, that should be where the game is won, right?
Yep.
So that is my penchant analysis there.
Well, I think it's good analysis, and if you base it on what we know last year of Oregon State's defense to do, they would give up yards and chunks and give points up readily. Their offense was almost even with Purdue. You could say that's that puts Purdue ahead because you think the strength of conference is a little bit more. Last year, though, like we said, clown year. It's hard to judge anything from that. But I think Oregon State's defense is not great. And I don't know if you guys have heard their coach being interviewed. It's maybe the most boring football coach interview I've ever heard. There's like no character at all. It's literally like you're out in your yard talking to your neighbor in Indiana who's an accountant or an engineer. No offense to my accountant engineer friends, or some of my best friends, but they're not exciting to talk to generally in the yard, right? I hope did I do a good job?
Reel that one back in.
How dare you?
Yeah. That was really, really offensive. The whole point is he's not exciting. Let's think of football coaches. When they talk, generally they've got something, right? Either, you've got some like rough around the edges type thing, or he seems like he's hard of hearing. He's kind of yelling, or he doesn't say anything, like Jeff Brom. Somehow he's saying tons of words with nothing. Brom is a very boring interview. This guy's somehow more boring than Brom. And his team, the idea that I get is they just wanted to take a little step forward, get a little bit better this year. And I just don't see their defense making a jump. Purdue made a radical overhaul on defense, which you guys talked about being the key, one of the keys. I think that's absolutely true. And that's going to make the difference. Anish, in your scenario, your score, even over here in John Faker's score, right? They're held to relatively few points. 45-24 would be a really fun, comfortable game. We saw last night how weird first games can be, right? Ohio State looked pretty bad at times, and it kept Minnesota in the game. The good news is Purdue isn't jumping in the Ohio State situation. We know what we're getting at quarterback. That's a big deal, right?
That's the difference. Again, another difference. Like, that guy was out of sync. He wasn't comfortable. He admitted to as much, and he still threw for 4 touchdowns, 2 long ones. They still win by 2 touchdowns on the road against a conference opponent. Like, right. That's the difference. Like, if Purdue is that out of sync early, that's what worries me. I think that's part of why I have a tough time getting comfortable with it, because we don't know what this team is yet. It's exciting, but it's also, you've no idea. I do think.
How many years have we come into in the last 15 where we felt like we really knew the team in the first game? Honestly.
Oh yeah. No. I don't know. 15 years. I mean, since I think we knew. I think we knew those last couple Tiller teams what you had. I think you could predict those pretty well. Like, because one of those, if you arbitrarily want to go back 15 years, one of those was that really terrible, like 8-5 team that lost at Hawaii, I think.
Right.
Where you're like, there's no excuse not to win 10, but man, they're so unimpressive in general that they won't, and they didn't. And you knew the last year wouldn't be good. So I think those were it. But you're right. Since him, no idea. Yeah. No idea. And maybe years 3 and 4 of Hazel.
Yep.
Kind of knew that wasn't going to be pretty.
Right.
So your point is right. Like, it's whoever knows. But let's go back to predictos. And Niche, what is your predicto?
Right. 38-21. And breaking news, have received Mr. Michael's predictos.
Oh, that was nice of him to.
Indeed. I have a bad feeling about this season. I'm reading, quoteth Michael. Also, Jeff Brom's teams always look awful in weeks 1 and 2. And I told him, this is on the record, buddy. So he's continuing to type a message, but his predicto is Oregon State 27, Purdue 17.
Wow.
See, I think that's really, really bad prediction. I don't know if I'm being clear. Just because Purdue doesn't get held to 17 points unless it's raining, right?
And it's good weather. It's going to
be 72 and clear, my friends. Like, it's going to be nice. It's going to be maybe the best weather of the season. Not much humidity at that time of the evening. It's going to be great. I cannot wait. I think our pal is his negative vibes, bruh, are just overtaking his brain.
Would you like more negative vibes?
Yeah,
keep them coming.
Okay. The offensive line is terrible. The defense is full of question marks, except for Karlaftis.
Offensive line is terrible now?
There's no clear standout quarterback. And while I was glad that Plummer got the nod, he's coming off of injury and will likely have to make a lot of plays with his feet.
Michael, so since you're here to defend yourself, do you know many? What was the completion percentage for Jack Plummer last year?
That's it. Crickets. Crickets, because he is not
70%.
here.
He completed 70% of his passes.
So I think
pretty good.
If Oregon State were like profiled as a different team again, like
Right.
their profile is like the exact kind of team that Purdue should beat. Like on paper, these teams match up. Oregon State is not really that threatening. They're not the offensive line shouldn't have to worry about any big pieces, like, pass rush pieces. The cornerbacks are exactly cornerbacks. You know what I mean? And on defense, they have a good line. They have a decent running game, but it's not like they have any kind of identity or threatening, any kind of the offensive line. And while Michael does say that, COVID allowed us to, I think he was saying COVID allowed us to, make excuses for what may have been a legitimately bad team last year. I do think that on paper, this should be a win. Now, while I am, while I am sympathetic to Michael's, his pessimism here. Yeah, exactly. Again, all logic would say that Purdue should win this game comfortably. However, sometimes logic gets thrown out the window, and I understand.
Yeah, I look at a lot of things. There's some great points over here on the side. Greg and Ultimate Boiler both talk about the improvement of the offensive line in different ways to me. Hartwig being a year older, he's a sophomore now. He was very, very good as a freshman, right? That's a big deal. I can't tell you how important I think Tyler Witt is, though. I just keep saying this, and I think you're going to see it. I think you're going to see him destroy somebody tomorrow night, like pull and just go through somebody. And I'm not kidding. Like, I am really excited to see this guy play. So I think the offensive line does get better because of that one additional crusty, rusty, trusty veteran. Not rusty, but very, very grizzled veteran, a guy who I think has just big capabilities. And here's what teams need.
Trusty, crusty, rusty, grizzled. I love these.
Yeah, they're all coming right from the sleeves. I have no sleeves. But here's what teams need that are going to be good. You need personalities, I think. I'm not kidding. I think they keep things loose when you get tight, when the game gets tight and when it feels like you got all this pressure on them. I think you need those guys in the huddle. I think Purdue's lacked some of those personalities, but I see some of them coming forward. Witt is one of these personalities. I think it's going to be important. Yes. There's also, I think the importance of the tight ends. I said this to Jay on a sidebar conversation.
Oh, yeah.
I think these tight ends are going to be huge tomorrow night because the safety valves are going to be as important as ever, because that's a really good thing for an offense to help get into sync, right? These tight ends are really good for Purdue. And I think they're going to put Oregon State in a position where they're going to have to make some decisions to bring linebackers up the field and guard them. And then that frees up the outside a bit, which is nothing but positive for Wright and Bell.
I think you got to put Dylan's comment up for those watching the live stream. He's impressed with facial hair.
I can. That was from a while ago. He was making somebody on here was making a point, so I didn't want to interrupt them. But thank you,
right.
Dylan.
I just wanted to.
We're great. We're really great.
So I haven't heard from Dave, the Enigma. So I know. Does Michael know that Karlaftis and David Bell are still on the team?
I don't think so.
Karlaftis, I have to believe is hungry for a big season. I have to believe. Like,
and Mitchell
I know
across from him. I mean, like Mitchell also.
The only thing Mitchell, the only knock on him right now is people saying he was a little bit out of shape, right? I know he's a monster on game day, though. He's one of those guys that's so much better on game than practice. So I think he'll do big things, but if you could have both those guys ready right away out of the chute, and I just don't know how if Mitchell's going to be 100% because he's only been practicing for 8-9 days. But Karlaftis, I'm expecting huge things. Even guys like Jack Sullivan, I think he's going to do something big and clog the middle and help Karlaftis get free a little bit up. I mean, I'm really in this game specifically. Okay, I'm not the whole season. I'll stand by what I said the other night for the season. But let's see, Cam Allen or Mitchell or Trice. I think Graham, and I think I mentioned these guys, Jay, specifically in my blurb that I sent you, that I think that if Karlaftis can do what I think he's going to do, he's been very motivated this offseason. He's in very good shape. He's going to be strong. He's going to have, he's going to be ready to hit some people that he doesn't like, right? So if you can have him just make the quarterback uncomfortable a bit, that opens things up, of course, for Graham and Allen and Trice all to do some things and start breaking on the ball. Oregon State has some solid receivers. I don't think they have a guy that's a world beater. I tried to study up on this and find information on that. If you guys know, you can tell me. But yeah, comment there. This is true too. Anyway, and Michael has been he's been mostly roses and lollipops in the last couple of weeks as we've gotten close to the season. So this is surprising to hear.
This is out of left field, exactly.
Yeah, I'm shocked and stunned.
So I think the brain trust at Bullet Sports, such as it is, I think cautious optimism is probably the right word. Like I think everybody feels like it's going to be a good night, but we've watched enough Purdue football to know that that can turn so fast.
Yeah,
but you will be there, correct? After you circle the state.
Yep.
For your various activities. So everyone swing by, rub Boiler Dad's head for good luck.
Yep. That's a very funny thing. I don't know if you saw on Twitter. There was a Boiled Sports fan who said he saw me. I was on the curb talking at a fast food restaurant.
That's never not a strange feeling.
Were you passing out pamphlets? Were you passing out pamphlets and did you have one of those giant billboards on you?
Always. That's what I do most.
The sandwich board?
Yes. By the way, just for all those tuned in, Jay's Knuckle Cam is still brought to you by Gridiron Metalworks, and we thank Derek and Paul and company for Knuckle Cam sponsorship.
I think that so we got three of us on here are cautiously optimistic. Michael is uncautiously pessimistic. I think we could safely say.
I think that's fair.
And I think either way, it's going to be a beautiful day tomorrow. It's back. Yeah. We're back. And it's going to be a night game. They're going to be in the All Blacks. It's going to be great.
Any surprises that you guys see coming, positive or negative?
I think it will be positive surprises. I think we haven't been used to seeing a competent Purdue team because of the year from hell last year. Yeah. And so I think we actually see a return of competence.
Can I get a hot take from each of you guys?
George Karlaftis scores a touchdown.
Yes!
Yeah, I was actually going to say a defensive touchdown, but
that's why I jumped in ahead of you.
Exactly. We can do that.
Okay. I'll give a hot take. And I sent this to Jay, but I'll say I'm just going to round up a little bit. Plummer 400 yards, Wright and Bell combined for 200 yards.
Woo! Let's get wild. I like it, and it's not crazy, crazy at all.
No,
that's
that's kind of a warm take, isn't it? That's not.
No. I think I'm getting feedback. I don't know. You have me off mute there, Manish? No, you're now muted.
He's muted.
Yeah, doubt it might be on your end.
Okay.
No. I was just hearing myself coming back through. I was just asking, our producer on the other side of the glass about, to get my levels evened out. Greg asks if George scores, is that actually a fat guy TD? No, I don't think so.
He's not fat.
He's like a lineman scoring a touchdown.
Right. I don't think we can count that. Sorry.
Let's ask this way, Greg. Would you accuse George of being fat to his face?
No, wait, yeah, but would you? I would not. There are certain other members of the Purdue football history that I would also not, but they would objectively be fat guy touchdowns.
But the big fat guys you can outrun. Actually, George, you could not outrun.
Let's
be clear.
No chance. I'm not. They got young knees. I'm not doing this anyway. We are at a tight 24 minutes. Anything else?
Perfect. We nailed it.
Beautiful. Cut. Print. Thanks for joining us. Maybe this will be the new format. We'll all get together on Friday afternoons because none of you want to work on Friday afternoons anyway.
Absolutely.
All right. It's been a pleasure. Love you guys.